As you can see, you have the 2015 model and a previous model, an older model, on the right. Now, there are some significant differences in these models. Along here, you have the daisy chain. Now, obviously you have 4 small bar tacks with some nylon on top. Now, there isn't a whole lot that you can attach here, but, I mean, they're there. Now, in the previous model, it is really and literally a daisy chain. It's designed exact same way, and it has some rather intense bar tacks from left to right on the top versus the other model. Now, obviously, on the older model, it is labor intensive to do all that. I get that. This, you just run the strip across, run a few bar tacks, and that's it. This, you actually have to have the daisy chain material, put it on, and then bar tack it properly. Generous zip pull with the logo Ruffwear, and this is a YKK zipper. So you've got the waterproof garage, YKK zipper, and a generous zip pull. On the new model, you don't have that. This is a YKK zipper once I got underneath it. But you've got a tiny little pull tab. Nothing compared to what you had before on the previous model. So they didn't do the waterproof garage, they did a cloth garage. So that's a lot less quality as far as that goes. This is reflective trimming, and they kept that from the previous model, so that's a good thing. As you can see, this is pretty much a nylon pack cloth, which is similar to what they had in the previous year. And they did do a heavier weight, heavier gauge material on the bottom, like they did before, but it's not contrasting like it was in previous models. As you can see, the same piping with the siliconized pack cloth, so it's pretty good. Similar in quality, I think it's probably the same thing. Although they did put Approach Pack on the actual pack itself, and this was reflective, and they went with the contrasting color of black, and it's a definite heavier material. I would say this is fairly close. I don't know between the two materials. Put them side by side. Put the two materials side by side, and I'm not sure. I think they're probably the same material, although I'm leaning towards the one on the right, the black, the previous model, to be a heavier gauge. It just feels heavier. Now, on the top, I don't know what they call this. I would call it more of a yoke than anything else. You can see some bigger differences. Obviously, this is black and this is gray. That's just superficial. But when we start looking at how the handles are designed, this handle is a lot smaller. It's a lot narrower, but it's rather thick. The new handle is pretty decent sized. It's wider, and it's at least as thick, maybe even thicker. It seems to be padded more, whereas this is just the material. So as far as how much the handle is secured, I would have to say that the new handle is actually more secure. Something that if you had to grab your dog, you definitely could. The only advantage to the old one is there is contrast colors. This is all gray. This obviously has the green and black. Also, this has the reflective piping that this doesn't have. So this is probably more sturdy, and you'll be able to yank your dog if you have to, or to pull your dog over obstructions that he or she can't get over. But this one definitely has more materials involved in it. Once again, you have this pull tab, both bar tack, so those are about the same. Same quality material as far as the metal wear here. The Ruffwear logo is on both of them, so that's pretty much the same. And let's look at the bottom, or the back side. Now obviously I have a new one on the left and an old one on the right. Now they're actually for two different dogs, and this dog sheds quite a bit. One thing you will notice, you have the little hole here. You have the cutout hole, and both have piping around it, which is good. But the big thing is, you notice everything is just sewn here. Here it's sewn and reinforced with more piping to give it some more rigidity, and on the ends sewn with extra material. So I think definitely that's a lot more quality involved and a lot more time involved in doing what they did in the previous year with this pack than with the new one. Now when we look at what goes underneath, which would basically be the sternum strap for the dog, we notice a big difference here. This, once again, it's multi-layered construction. Okay, you have the pack cloth on one side, the nylon and the belt, but you also have a soft fleece-like material. It's not exactly fleece. I think it's some sort of lightweight nylon grade that's brushed, but this is definitely something that when it comes in contact with the dog, it's not going to chafe as much. Now, in these new models, it's just purely the pack cloth. You know, there's nothing soft, you know, nothing smooth against his body. So you're looking at a difference in the materials. You know, you're going to have the soft. Now, admittedly, this will pick up little minor things, and of course mine mostly has hair on it. But, you know, it's a little bit softer for your dog. So I think that's kind of more of a win for the older pack versus the newer pack. At the sternum, once again, you have the little chest piece with the Ruffwear logo. It's pretty much unchanged. Has the reflective piping on the old one. We have the reflective piping on the new one. So it's pretty much the same in that regards. So that way you can see, you know, some things are getting caught up on the fleece of the old one. So, I mean, what can you say about the Ruffwear Approach Pack? This is a great pack. I like it. I wish my dogs liked it more. I wish they liked it as well as I did. But the price you pay for this pack and the price you pay for this pack are the same. They're the same model. And yet, you have more bells and whistles on this than you do on this pack. So what I don't understand is, how can they decrease the amount of bells and whistles and yet keep the same price? Now, that's something that I have a little bit of an issue with. It would be more so if I actually paid full price. I'm paying about $63 and some change, maybe $64 at backcountrycanine.com, so I'm not paying full price. But in seeing as how these are theoretically the exact same price, this, I think, overall is less than this. And they should be increasing, or at the very least, making it a better pack for the price, not a lesser pack for the price. You know, it's nice to have the waterproof material on the zippers, but if it's a light rain or a dew, and I keep most of his gear waterproof bags anyway, you know, it's just a better feature. You know, the daisy chain, it's a better feature. The contrasting piping, better feature. The fleece underneath, you know, that's something to keep from rubbing up against the dog, so I think that's a better feature. Although I can kind of mitigate that and say, well, it's a break even because it does attract, you know, little pieces of fluff and things that might rub against them. You know, the construction of the bottom, you know, this clearly has a lot of different reinforcements that this one does not have. It's sewn in, but it doesn't have them. Oh. And where you attach the sternum straps and the belly straps, this is pretty thick nylon and it's bar tacked. On the new model, it's not. you've got this little 1/2-inch piece of nylon, and that's it. Now this one is non-consistent because this is just the material stitched on, this little 1/2-inch piece. But over here we have the same thing with a clip. So I don't know if maybe I got one that's odd or that's just what they do. But on the old model, you can see that's probably a full inch bar tacked, full inch bar tacked. So as far as the Ruffwear Approach Pack 2015 or earlier pack, if you're not hung up on the colors, because they were fairly limited in the colors for the older packs, I would go with an older pack versus a newer pack. You're going to get quality with Ruffwear, but the older is clearly better than the newer in regards to this pack. So I'd go get one, put it on your dog, make him or her carry their gear out into the woods. If you can find any of these online somewhere or in discount bins, you know, at a pet store or an outdoor store, get the old pack. If not, the new pack is just fine. But like I said, they're selling the new pack for the same price of the old pack, and it's just not as good. You know, lower the price just a little bit, because, you know, you've saved money on features. That's all I'm saying. So, the Ruffwear Approach Pack, new and old. I suggest, if you can find it, buy the old. It's a 5 out of 5 stars. If all you can get is the new pack, it's a 4 out of 5 stars. It's still a great pack. Okay, I still suggest it. But, like I said, it's not as great as the old. So, that's my personal opinion. You know, you may think differently, that's fine. But, for right now, that's what we think here at Core.